A wall of glass 120 feet long, longer than an NBA half-court, pouring light across an entire apartment and framing an unbroken view of the Hudson River. A primary bathtub positioned so precisely that from inside it, you can see the Statue of Liberty in the distance. And two people who could buy nearly any address on the planet, choosing 2,800 square feet in a 14-story building in the West Village, instead of a tower on Fifth Avenue. Justin and Hailey Bieber just paid $12 million for their first shared home in New York City. But the price tag is the least interesting part of this story. For 6 years, Justin and Hailey Bieber's real estate life has played out almost entirely in Los Angeles, a Beverly Park estate as their primary residence, a getaway in La Quinta, a lakefront property back in Justin's home country of Canada. New York was always the city they visited, never the city they owned. That changed this July, when property records confirmed what real estate insiders had been quietly circling for weeks. The Wall Street Journal broke it first, citing documents and people close to the deal. The couple had closed on a 4-bedroom condo in Manhattan's West Village for $12 million. But that's only part of the story. This isn't a random splurge dropped into the middle of an ordinary year. It's landing at the exact moment both of their careers hit a new peak simultaneously. Hailey just came off the sale of Rhode, her skincare brand, to ELF Beauty in a deal reportedly worth up to $1 billion, one that didn't push her out of her own company but expanded her role, naming her chief creative officer and head of innovation. Justin, meanwhile, released his 7th studio album and, for the first time in his career, headlined Coachella. Two people who just had the biggest professional year of their lives went shopping for real estate together. That's not a coincidence. That's a couple marking a new chapter the way people with unlimited options mark new chapters, with an address. So why the West Village, and why this building specifically? Here's where things get interesting. The property sits at 160 Leroy Street, directly on the West Village waterfront, in a pocket of Manhattan that has quietly become one of the most expensive, most heavily celebrity-populated blocks in the entire city. Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick live here. So do Liv Tyler, Daniel Radcliffe, and Ben Stiller. Two Fanatics executives live in the Biebers' own building. This isn't a neighborhood people move to for anonymity. It's a neighborhood people move to because the anonymity is engineered, expensive, and extremely deliberate. But the building itself is only half the story. This is where celebrity money collides with serious architecture. 160 Leroy Street was developed by Ian Schrager, the hotelier who co-founded Studio 54, and designed by Herzog de Meuron, the Pritzker Prize-winning Swiss firm behind some of the most photographed buildings on Earth. Completed in 2017, the 14-story tower is poured almost entirely from concrete and glass, its curved, undulating form directly inspired by the work of the legendary Brazilian architect Oscar Niemeyer. Picture a Manhattan skyline built almost entirely from stacked rectangles, and then one building that ripples instead of stacks, bending along the waterline like a wave caught mid-motion. That single design decision is a major reason. Units here command some of the highest per square foot prices in the neighborhood. And that's not even the most impressive part. That curve isn't just for looking at from the street. It's what makes the interior experience possible in the first place. Step inside, and floor-to-ceiling glass runs the entire length of the residence, more than 120 feet of unbroken window facing straight out over the Hudson. Wide planks of pale Scandinavian larch line the floors beneath it, catching the river light and carrying it across the entire living space for most of the day. From certain angles, that same wall of glass lines up perfectly with the Statue of Liberty, a view corridor that only a handful of units in all of Manhattan can legally or physically claim. Most apartments have a nice window. This one has a 120-foot glass wall doing the work of an entire room. Let's walk through what $12 million actually buys here, because the number only means something once you see what's attached to it. The unit spans roughly 2,800 square feet, split across 4 bedrooms and 4.5 bathrooms, about the footprint of 5 average Manhattan apartments combined. On one end, facing the river, sits the primary suite, built around a marble-clad bathroom with a Caldaway soaking tub, heated floors, a double vanity, a separate stall shower, and a walk-in closet sized like a small boutique. Next to it sits a flexible room with its own ensuite bath, the kind of space a listing calls an office, den, or library, and a family raising a toddler calls a 5th bedroom in waiting. The other two bedrooms sit on the opposite side of the apartment entirely, putting real distance between the primary suite and the rest of the household. In a home this size, that separation is its own kind of privacy. Yet stepping into the kitchen reveals something completely different. A level of craftsmanship that feels almost excessive for a room technically built for breakfast. It's a custom Bulthaup kitchen, finished in the same Scandinavian larch as the floors, with countertops carved from Sivek marble, a stone quarried in Macedonia and prized for its near-flawless white veining. The appliance suite reads like a wish list assembled from 4 different luxury catalogs at once. Sub-Zero, Wolf, Gaggenau, and Miele, all built directly into the walls. And tucked away from the main entertaining space entirely, there's a second, fully enclosed chef's kitchen, complete with its own Sub-Zero freezer, a dedicated wine refrigerator, and a Wolf steam oven, built so that catering staff and private events never have to touch the kitchen the family actually lives in. Here's a detail most coverage of this sale skipped right past, and it might be the one that tells you the most about how this apartment was designed to be experienced. The unit includes 6 dedicated art walls, positioned throughout the residence specifically for displaying artwork rather than furniture or storage. That's not a standard apartment feature, that's a gallery-level design choice. The kind of thing you specify when you're not just buying square footage, you're buying a blank canvas built for a collection. Combine that with a privacy detail built directly into the floor plan, an extra door and hallway separating the living space from the building's exterior corridor, and this listing wasn't marketed as just another luxury condo. It was marketed as a private gallery with a bedroom wing attached. But one feature buried in the listing photos may have sealed the deal faster than any marble countertop. One of the bedrooms had already been staged by the New York design firm Interior Marketing Group as a children's room, complete with a custom chalkboard wall. According to reporting on the sale, the Biebers kept it exactly as staged for their son, Jack Blues, who turns 2 this August. Picture it. A couple that just closed a billion-dollar brand deal and headlined the biggest music festival in the world. Walking through a $12 million apartment with 6 curated art walls and a marble soaking tub, and the room that actually closed the deal was the one built for a toddler who can't even read yet. That family-first instinct extends past the unit and into the building itself. Residents get access to a landscaped courtyard, a 70-foot swimming pool, a yoga and Pilates studio, a steam room, a private garage, a full-time resident manager, and a fitness room. And here's the detail that likely mattered more than any of it to 2 parents of a toddler in a city where private outdoor space is nearly impossible to buy at any price. A dedicated children's clubhouse and a catering kitchen built specifically for hosting large private events. In Manhattan, you cannot purchase a backyard at almost any price point. What you can purchase, if you're willing to pay for it, is a building that comes with one already built in. Now here's where the story gets genuinely interesting from an investment standpoint. Because the Biebers weren't the first owners to recognize exactly what this apartment was worth. Property records show the unit was sold to them by Stephen Browser, chairman and CEO of the real estate firm Parkland Group, who had bought the same apartment back in 2018 for $10.5 million. He listed it this past April for $12 million and sold it at full asking price. No negotiation, no discount. In 7 years, that's roughly $1.5 million in appreciation on a single Manhattan condo, in a market where plenty of luxury units have actually lost value over the same stretch. That's the quiet, unglamorous story sitting underneath the celebrity headline. This wasn't just a good buy for the Biebers, it was a genuinely strong asset for the seller too. And here's where the comparison really lands. Against the rest of the Biebers' portfolio, $12 million barely cracks the top of the list. Their primary residence, the Beverly Park Estate in Los Angeles, is valued at roughly $25.8 million, more than double this purchase. Their getaway in La Quinta's Madison Club runs around $16.6 million. Against those numbers, this New York condo is actually the modest entry in the Bieber real estate portfolio. More expensive than many family homes across America, yet still the smallest house on their own list. For most buyers, $12 million and 2,800 square feet is the biggest purchase of a lifetime. For the Biebers, it's the pied-à-terre. And that ties back to something Hailey said publicly years before any of this happened, long before Road, before Beverly Park, before any of it. Back in 2022, on The Tonight Show, she described the early days of dating Justin, back when she was furnishing her very first apartment in New York on her own. She recalled Justin asking how the place was coming together, and when she admitted she didn't have a television yet, he redirected their drive home and took her to buy one on the spot. Mortified protests included. It's a small story, but it says something real. Long before either of them could afford a $12 million condo with 6 art walls and a private chef's kitchen, they were furnishing a first apartment together with a rerouted trip to Best Buy. This new condo isn't really where their New York story started. It's where it's continuing. This condo isn't Justin and Hailey's biggest home. It isn't even their most expensive purchase. But it may be the one that best reflects exactly where they are in life right now, choosing privacy, balance, and thoughtful design over another mega mansion built to be photographed from the street. A curved glass tower on the Hudson, a chalkboard wall, kept exactly the way a 2-year-old likes it, and 6 blank walls waiting for whatever this family collects next. What impressed you most about Justin and Hailey's new Manhattan condo? Was it the location, the architecture, or the idea that one of the world's biggest celebrity couples chose understated design over another mega mansion? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy exploring the incredible homes, hidden estates, and lifestyles of the world's biggest celebrities, subscribe to Fame Trek. Every week, we take you inside another extraordinary celebrity home and uncover the story behind it.